What the CSO program actually does is it helps provide an integral part of the quality of life that the police department is able to give to the citizens. So what our CSOs do is they respond to, I like to call it the auxiliary calls to service. So they will respond to parking lot accidents, all parking calls, traffic control, crowd control, lockouts, graffiti investigations. They're the animal control officers. They take care of all the lost dogs, animal licensings, animal bites, animal welfare, and all tasks assigned. They help free up the officers to respond to the more urgent calls or give them more availability for proactive enforcement. It's been working out really well. They work hand in hand with the officers. They're in police vehicles, they use the radio systems, they use the software systems, but they take more of those auxiliary calls so we can be free to respond to the more urgent matters that might pop on up.
What the Community Service Officer program does is it allows you to wear a uniform, drive around a marked car, interact with citizens in such a way that you're starting to experience what that feels like. And I think that's very important for someone who wants to be in law enforcement to get a sense for how that feels.
It was just a really fun team, and you get to go out and do some police things, you get to meet officers. It's a phenomenal learning environment. You get to see what officers do on a daily basis, and while you're in school learning and you're also getting to do that on the side, it's just a lot of fun.
I would have to say that I credit my ability to be a police officer to my experience that I got while being a CSO. You're working with officers every single day. You're using the equipment, you're learning the laws, and you're really learning how to interact with the public the same as patrol officers do every single day. And the experience that you gain while being a CSO will make you a step ahead of everybody else, to include while you're going through the academy and the hiring process.
It truly was the best way for me to get into this profession. I wish everybody could start the profession as a community service officer because it ingrains you in the purpose behind law enforcement, which is service. It's why we get into this profession. It's why we should get into this profession. So it was a great way to start the career. Why Appleton as a CSO? I think we're a unique agency. We approach policing very differently than a lot of other agencies do. It's a very family atmosphere. We have a very tight community that's supportive of law enforcement, and it's a good way to start this profession.
When you start a career in law enforcement, there is an incredible amount of things you need to learn at a very fast pace. Becoming a CSO gives you the background where you have the opportunity to learn a lot of things ahead of time, so once you become an officer, you can expand on the knowledge that you already have.
In a normal day for a CSO, we're trying to get out and about. We like checking the highways for motorist assists, going to the parks, being visible in the community. Other than that, we handle anything animal related, so found dogs, dogs at large. We do animal bite investigations, as well as found property, abandoned vehicles.
The Appleton CSO program has an amazing track record. I think that CSOs here are given a lot more responsibility, and we're able to do a lot more and get out in the community more, and I think it's great.
The favorite part of my job is coming in every day and seeing my CSOs. I absolutely, positively bleed light blue. I love my CSOs. I love coming on in and hearing their stories. I like looking at their progression. I like seeing them not be able to do something a couple months ago to being able to excel at it.
For me, it really helped with knowing the city. When I started getting into field training to be an officer, my orientation, I knew the paperwork, I knew our records people, I knew command staff. A lot of that stuff you already have out of the way. And it just makes it a lot less stressful and so much easier to just learn the job. And I see that with a lot of the newer people. It seems like they are quicker to take to the field training because they have, like I said, that stress is behind them already. They have already learned a lot of those things, and they can just really, really focus on the day-to-day, what it means to be a patrol officer, to be out there doing the job.
Well, I started as a CSO back in 1984, so it was my hometown. It's where I grew up. I I had relatives that were Appleton police officers, so I always wanted to come back to Appleton. I just never thought the opportunity would be there for me. The opportunity presented itself, and it's been the best thing that happened in my career. Was to come home, be able to work with the people I work with, and get to serve the community that I grew up with.
The reason why we wanted to stay here in Appleton is because as community service officers, you start getting to know the people involved in the agency. And so it becomes kind of like a family in a way, a family unit. And that's really what Adam and I experienced when we came here as CSOs, is we really experienced that family type environment. And so that's one of the main reasons why we stayed.
My time as a CSO, I knew I was eventually going to apply for Appleton. I knew that right from the beginning, from the first interview, just the professionalism that was shown to me during all the interview processes and going through the orientation phase. It was just clear that this was going to be the department for me.
Once I got to work here as a CSO, the environment here, how I was treated, how everybody seems to get along and have kind of a family atmosphere, always working together. Some of the progressive ideas that we have, and no idea is a bad idea. You're encouraged to come up with ways of solving issues and helping with problems. Being a major part of the community, all were very appealing. And after being a CSO for 2 years and having that experience, it just seemed like a natural progression to try to stay here. And I applied, and luckily I was chosen to be an officer here.
The community of Appleton as a whole is a great place to raise a family, and what we had always heard is that working for Appleton was the best, and we would want to be part of the best.
Being a CSO will definitely prepare someone for a full-time career in law enforcement. We do a lot of the same things, using the radio, using the computer in the car, navigating to calls, all sorts of things that full-time, full-sworn officers do.
They respond to a plethora of calls. They work the radio systems. They're in full uniform. They have police on their vehicles. They do investigations. They can write non-custodial arrests. They understand what constitutional right is. They assist the officers on calls when they need them. It is being as close to an officer as you can get without actually having the badge on.
Best part of being a CSO was the excitement of starting the career. I still remember those first days of walking into the department as a CSO. I had a family member that was very important to me, a great aunt who was my godmother. And her husband died before I actually started working in law enforcement. But she spoke so highly of him that it just made me want to be like him. So I remember the day I was able to drive the old CSO pickup truck over to her house and show her me driving an Appleton Police Department vehicle and being in uniform. I think it was the proudest I've ever seen her, so that was a highlight.
My favorite part about being a CSO is the people I get to work with. I think that we have a great work community. Everybody here is so welcoming and helpful and kind.
I like the environment of Appleton. I like the festivals. I like the music. I like the arts. I like that my kids can grow up here safely. And I like the idea of being a part of that reason why they're able to be safe. And so that's really what led me to trying to stay in Appleton. I did look at other agencies. I did a lot of research at other agencies, and none of them really compared to what Appleton had to offer.
Some of the best things about working in Appleton PD is just the professionalism, the pride in what we do, that sense of unity and family that we have each other's backs, but also the sense that the community is there to support us and be a part of this agency. And that, I think that's very important, right? We can't be above the police, the people that we police. We have to be part of them. And I feel like everyone here that works in Appleton PD, it feels like they're part of the community, not set aside or segregated from them in some way. We are the community.
Best part of our community is absolutely the people. I've lived in a lot of different areas. I've been blessed to grow up in Appleton. I've been blessed to be able to come back to Appleton. It is definitely the people. The heart and the love that this community has for each other and the way they take care of each other is unique. It's special. So it's a great place to work. It's a great place to raise your family.
Well, the Appleton Police Department is always looking for our 3 core values: courage, compassion, and integrity. I'm always looking for a little bit of zealousness too in my CSOs. I'm looking for that young individual that wants to learn, that wants to make a difference, that wants to get out there and meet with the people, that wants to take these calls. It's a very busy job. You're constantly doing something. And I'm always looking for that high energy individual that wants to get out there and make a difference.
Go for it, right? Experience it. Really get a sense for if this is something you want to do with the rest of your life or not. And this gives you that great opportunity to sense that, right? Is this something that truly is your calling, or is this something maybe that you want to rethink? Either way, you're learning something about yourself. So keep an open mind, but go for it.
Go for it. Seize the opportunity. Not only does it give you a potential foot in the door here at our department, it also gives you some skills in law enforcement career, no matter where you go, what avenue you take. It gives you that flavor of it, a little bit of a taste of it. I know there's been several CSOs that we've hired in the past that started doing CSO work and decided, maybe this isn't the career for me. But we've had a lot that have flourished in that environment and really taken advantage of it and have gone on to be, great officers in our department and departments throughout the valley and outside the valley in the state.
Being a CSO is going to help you clarify that. Like, is this job for me? Is this job not for me? Because being a CSO isn't a career, it's a stepping stone that really helps guide your way into what you want to do, what you think you want to do.
I take phone calls from multiple municipalities all the time asking if our CSOs are available for them to pick on up, which, is great. We like to get them to hire at other places, but truly I'm selfish. We want them here in Appleton. But it is rewarding to hear that when people are looking for our CSOs.
If you feel the drive in your heart to serve others and to protect the innocent and serve victims, then you're going to be a good police officer.